Hey, good day, everyone. This is Phil Wilt, President Chief Operating Officer at American Central Transport. I'm on the truck yard today. I'm joined by Mark from Strategos. Mark is a trainer. Strategos does a lot of safety and training, and they work even inside the trucking industry. So today we want to talk a little bit about what we should do to keep ourselves safe. And so what I'd like to know, Mark, I guess to start out with, is what kind of mindset, how do we set ourselves up to stay safe out on the road?
You know, one of the first things I would say is, these drivers, you guys spend so much time on the road, you know what's normal, what's not normal. One of the things that I think that if I could get you thinking differently, and that thought process would simply be, when it comes to parking your vehicle, you know how to get into these vehicles better than anyone. You deal with them every single day. So if you start with the end in mind and you said, I want to protect my trailer, what are some of the things that I could do that would make it difficult for somebody that wanted to break into it? And so as we're standing in front of this trailer, some of the things that we could look at doing: backing it into a vehicle where they can't easily open the doors, backing it into another trailer where they can't open the doors, a light pole, well-lit areas, all the things that are going to be a deterrent to somebody that wants to physically break into your vehicle. So just think with the end in mind, if you were the bad guy, what would you do? How would you get into the vehicle? And then think of ways to counter that.
That's really a great tip. If you think about it this way, think about the fact that a criminal does not want to get caught. So if you do all of those things that Mark is suggesting, that is going to deter them. They're going to go on down the road, and that will keep you safe, and that's really what's most important here at ACT. All right, so I like to walk down the side of the trailer, and I think often what we find here is that our drivers are put in some kind of scary situations different times as they're at the truck stops. They're coming in from maybe a lot that isn't well lit. Maybe they've gone in, they've had dinner late, they got in, they're taking a shower, and they've got to walk alongside their truck. And it feels like this is a place that you can be very vulnerable. So I guess, can you give us any tips that would help them, these men and women, stay safe out on the road?
Absolutely. One of the first things I'm going to tell you, obviously we've talked about before, and that's awareness. As you leave that truck stop that you've been in and you start approaching those lines of trucks, I want to be looking underneath those trucks from as far away as I can, especially the area that I'm planning on walking through. What that allows me to look for is feet. Someone that's concealing themselves amongst those trailers or those trucks, I'm going to be able to look underneath that. As I get closer and I start getting in between those trucks, that's where a high quality flashlight that's very, very bright is going to be my friend.
Good.
Have that in my hand. It's just like we teach women in self-defense classes. As you're approaching your vehicle, have your keys in hand. It's the same thing. It's having that mentality that I'm prepared for that. The other thing that the light does for you, so we get into those narrowed areas, as I'm approaching, what I want to do is, if I'm around my truck, maybe look underneath with my light by exposing that area, again, looking for light.
Right.
One of the things that we see with light is, if someone's got bad intentions, they don't want to be seen. Light represents vision. Vision represents somebody on the other side of that. So that light kind of sends a message, one, to somebody that may be hiding, that you're looking for them. But also it allows us to see them from farther away, where we have truck between us and them, hopefully.
And if you think about it, that gives you really the jump. If you identify that person, they're down on the ground on their knees or on their belly, that allows you to run. Yes. And to get away from that situation and to protect you. That's really important. I think it's more about, in these situations where really bad things happen, is we're not anticipating it.
Correct.
And so if we see those individuals, you're there, and all of those are really great tips. So carrying a flashlight with you as you go back and forth between the facilities, you're doing that, is a really good idea. You know, one of the other things, we haven't talked about this, but sometimes what happens with our drivers is they're going back there, and I've heard of even where they've seen someone laying down. We've had a driver robbed within the last year where they were walking back, there was someone acting like they were hurt, and they were not. It was a setup. They came around the corner, they were jumped, they were robbed with that. Any thoughts on that? Anything that's different?
Correct. One, again, we're looking for body language. But as I approach, if it's dark and I put a flashlight on that person, one, I'm also increasing my ability to see what's really going on around that person. Do I see blood? Do I see some mechanism of injury? Is there something else going on? So that light helps me to get a better picture of what's happening. Second thing it does, it sends a message to that person. And if they weren't expecting that, again, we may get a response or reaction that they weren't expecting, that they emit to us. So it does give us that ability to see sooner.
I think one of the things that's really important us to remember is it is important for us to be kind, good human beings. However, in a situation like that, if you see yourself in that, it may be one of those things where when your senses go up and you know it isn't right, maybe it's better to go to your truck, call into the truck stop, have them send someone out that's trained their security, or call the police. I think our human nature is to jump right in, but when we get in those situations, please be careful. Think about that, evaluate the situation, and if it doesn't feel right, it's not.
In fact, let's add to that. If there is any doubt, there is no doubt. If the little voice in the back of your head is causing you concern, then you need to listen to it and trust it. And that's when I'm definitely going to go let somebody else that's better prepared to handle that. Don't risk your life unless you know you have to do it to save your life or the life of somebody else.
That's really awesome. Well, Mark, thank you so much. We're a family-owned company. We care a lot about our drivers. Making sure that they return home to their families and the people around them do that is really a very important part of this. Matter of fact, it's part of our core value system. And so with that, I just want to say thanks for doing that, coming out today. Your tips are awesome. And for those of you men and women that are with our company, be careful on the road. We want you to get back to your family. Have an awesome day.